A warm welcome to the exclusive interview President Jacob Zuma granted to the SABC as we conclude the year 2014. President Zuma was frank on a number of issues ranging from the economy, international relations, parliament to his health. We started by asking the President the most pressing issue of the time, load shedding. What is government planning to do to stop this?
The problem is that we are dealing with the terrible legacy of apartheid, and we have a program to grow the energy so that we can grow the economy. So we who are dealing with it, we understand very well that these are the problems, and we're addressing them. We've got clear policies. We are making budgets necessary to deal with it. That's why we are talking about energy mix, wherein we put everything, because that is important to grow the economy at the rate at which we want to grow. You can want to grow the economy if you don't have energy. You can't do it. That's why it is one of our focus in this fifth, administration, as it was with the past one, with all of them. That's why we have the plans to build the what you call. So this is very much linked to how the economy grows. The countries that were often referred to or compared with never had apartheid. Their citizens growing steadily, all of them. People must realize we come from a system that was declared by the world as a crime against humanity. These are the things they were doing that were referred to by that kind of a resolution of the United Nations. So that's a problem we have with the economy. The fact that now we are told there's hope that our economy is going to grow. It grew in the last quarter with 1 point something. It tells you we are doing things right for the economy.
We also raised the issue of the uncertainty whether Medupi will come online later this year to help boost the electricity supply to the country.
I think the time that was put in so far as Medupi is concerned has gone over the time limit. It's a problem, and therefore escalated even the costs, etc. Of course, there were also strikes. We need to look at energy in a big way and pull all of it together, renewable, whatever, nuclear, whatever. So, in a sense, we think we are getting there, and there's government plan. We thought by this time we'll come right, but certain things did not go right. We could have done better, for an example, with even other old, which were mothballed, power stations. For an example, if you take the time frames of Medupi, Gusile, and of course Nkandla, which had an accident that also delayed it, we would have, by this time, we would have been in a better kind of position. But something went wrong, and I think we are fixing that as government. We are very much aware of this. The Medupi must come online at the time that has been put, at least some of the units, and then we continue from there.
Government is also focusing its attention on troubled parastatals like Eskom, Post Office, and SAA.
The fact that we have had these institutions, I'm sure you know SAA long before. For an example, I became the president, we had problems. People came, we imported to come and turn it around. They couldn't. We have taken a decision, for an example, taking it out of the department and putting it direct, which is by law, under the Treasury, to look at the finances, because the problem has been how the finances have been run. And I can tell you, it's going to turn around straight, because now we are looking at it moving forward rather than when we're trying to move forward. Some people are pulling it back in many ways or whatever. And we said, therefore, the SAA, the Post Office, which has been a problem for a long time as well as Eskom. You are right. It does have something to do with the leadership, because we have always had CEOs, we have had the boards and ministers all the time. But things have been going the way they do. That's why I've now deliberately taken a decision that the deputy president, who will be assisted by the minister in the presidency, of performance monitoring and evaluation, they are going to be able to they oversee that the decisions we have taken are indeed implemented meticulously. That's what we have done, and we can do it. If you take Telkom today, which we didn't talk about it at some point. Some people at one time, they will say, this thing is finished, it must be sold. I said, no. All we did was to put a leadership there with clear direction, and they indeed provided leadership. What has done to Telkom? It has turned around. So it is possible. And that's what we are doing with these three. We must turn them around because they are important assets of the country.
He also responded to the suggestions that as he delegates more responsibilities to the Deputy President, he is perhaps laying foundation for a smooth transition.
How do you put transition some sort when you are doing the first year? It can't be. I think that's what I've been saying earlier. That's what I've been saying earlier. That your observers at times, they run short of ideas and they start dreaming. Deputy President is a Deputy President. And you assign tasks to a person you know will do the task. And that's what happens. You will work together. You want to share the work. And you want to use also the capacity of the people you are working with. That's all. It has nothing behind, no hidden agenda. It's a question of how the presidency is working. And I think if you take the Deputy President, has the energy, has everything that it takes that you can, in a sense, delegate without having any worry. I think that's what's happening.
The President also shared his views on the current state of the Fifth Democratic Parliament.
I think Parliament has indeed been put into a very compromising position by honorable members of Parliament. They have not acted honorably because people look at Parliament and they want to see a constructive thing in Parliament. I think it hasn't. Of course, I don't think we should say we don't know what has happened in Parliament. I think there are parties that emerged who actually said it before Parliament. They are going to make Parliament look differently. So there's a kind of a decision of political parties that they will disrupt Parliament as a program, their program to disrupt Parliament. And that's what they've been doing. The President has been coming to account all the time. But before just getting to the President, the Deputy President has been abused in Parliament, called a murderer, etc., by members who say, if the Speaker says withdraw, honorable members withdraw. I will never withdraw. And I think Parliament should have taken very firm view from that point of view. What, for an example, happened to the Deputy President when he was in Marikana was actually transported to Parliament in terms of people who were saying there, you are a murderer, you are a murderer. Same thing in Parliament. Pay back the money, pay back the money, same thing. Now, I think South Africans must look at the political parties for what they are and not say, because even if we say the Parliament is in chaos, as too generalizing, there are specific parties that are causing chaos in Parliament. That's how it should be presented, so that people should know that there are people they elected to go and help make the laws, make Parliament have responsibility to have oversight over the executive. They're not doing that. They're causing chaos. It can't be every member. It is because of some parties that have come in that have a program to disrupt Parliament.
Opposition parties say they will continue to demand answers from the President because they accuse him of failing to account.
When the President had come to answer 6 questions, he answered 2 questions. On the 3rd question, he was interrupted by honorable members. They did not act honorably. When the President is answering, instead of taking the answers, they actually stood up and banged tables, pay back the money, and Parliament could not proceed. The issue is Parliament has been prevented by honorable members to answer questions, in other words, to account. That's why, whilst this debate that the president is not coming, the president was in the NCOP, debating with the NCOP. So it is the National House that is actually a problem to itself. And I think parties are pronouncing that they are going to continue because it is a program of specific parties. Now, the parties that have been sitting in Parliament for a long time, without knowing, they fell into the trap where they became part of that program. So that is what has happened in Parliament. And political parties have to be clear. What is it that what do they want to do? Are they carrying out programs of other parties who came, who actually campaigned on a ticket that we are going to make that Parliament not to be the same again? It's a clear program. They said it, and they are saying it up to this day.
On the threats that the state of the nation of 2015 will be disrupted, the president said, not under his watch.
I don't think that will happen. We have a country here, we have authority here. We've got to do the governing of the country. There are no people who are not going to be allowed to disrupt Parliament so that the work of the nations come to a stop. That's not going to be allowed. It can't happen. Otherwise, there will be chaos in this country. I mean, it's worse than dictators. It's just causing chaos. I don't think the country will allow that. It can't be.
In short, they are saying, as you were saying, you are avoiding the questions.
No, I'm not avoiding the question. I will never avoid any question. I don't think they understand the processes. Yeah. They're just living in their own world. There's only one, there are 3 reports that have been done on Nkandla. There's not a single one that found anything wrong that the president done. Of all the reports, including the report of the public protector, nothing. You must recall that at the beginning, the allegation was that the president has abused 250 million rands. People are no longer saying, look, that was not found. Nobody says so. You guys are not saying it, and you were saying it at the time. You should have said 3 reports, have not. I think some other people that I don't know, people are dealing with them. The reality is that the president did absolutely nothing wrong in the Nkandla. 3 reports have not found anything. And it's the first incident to be investigated by 3 agencies. Because people were hoping we'll find something. Nothing. What then happens? The report of the public protector says there was undue benefit of the family and the president. That's not committing any crime. President did nothing. President did not ask any benefit from anyone. And maybe he should pay back, but that should be determined by the Treasury and the Minister of Police. That's what it says. That report, probably and others, were then subjected to a process because the public protector's report has to be subjected to particular processes. Parliament had just taken a decision to establish an ad hoc committee to look into that report, to look at the report produced by the president in response to that. How could you ask me when the process to determine that is still going on and ask the president to answer that question? And the president says that question is being addressed by Parliament. It's not yet concluded.
South Africa has been at the forefront of trying to get trade embargo against Cuba lifted. The latest developments by President Obama and President Castro was well received by South Africa.
I would like really to congratulate both sides. This kind of standoff between Cuba and the United States was not a good one, particularly from a country like the United States, which has been looked at as a leading example of democracy, the big power. How can a big power squeeze a small little island? Really, it did not make good sense. fact that they've taken these decisions, I think they've done a good thing for the world generally, to say we need to normalize relations, to have good relations. And I'm happy that the response from Cuba is also very encouraging. This is what we've been calling for all the time.
The SADC's role in trying to mediate in Lesotho was also noted.
We as South Africa, we are the only neighbor of Lesotho. And therefore what happens in Lesotho is something that affects us very directly. And therefore, and we have said so to Basutos, that wherever, even if we make one another angry, we have no alternative. Two of us as neighbors have got to work together. I think this time around, it has gone very well. We would like to congratulate the leadership in Lesotho. We'd like to congratulate His Majesty, King Lesia III. I think they've worked very well with SADC, with the organ, to ensure that we resolve the issues. We'll now be having elections, and I'm sure after election, the situation will be normal.
As we conclude the interview, the President also shared his views about the punishing election schedule and the leadership of the country.
2014 has been an interesting year, in the main because of the elections. Elections are a thermometer to check the health of democracy, whether democracy is indeed viable, healthy, or whatever. But it is also an important occasion for a country because, as I call it, a thermometer. It checks exactly the support of each and every party. And therefore important in terms of the life of democracy. And I'm saying these elections to us were very important to argue eloquently against many clever people who know it all, who are saying the ANC is not going to make it. The policies are wrong. It's not delivering. But the people said this is the organization that holds the future of this country. And I've not heard clear analysis saying we were wrong. People of this country support the ANC. I think it was a very good election, therefore, for the ANC to once again win the confidence and support of the people of this country. And but what is interesting is that even if the elections had gone that way, the views that the ANC is not loved by the continued. Now, these are the people who talk to themselves until they believe themselves that what they say is in fact true when it is not true. Because otherwise, the ANC would not have won with 62 majority. There had been a saying, a very big saying leading up to elections. There is no leadership in this country. No leadership, leadership is not there, blah, blah, blah. Big speeches. And people have said, this is the leadership. The clever people don't see the leadership, but the masses of this country see the leadership. That's the difference. And they've elected the leadership, they've elected their government, so people are clear. But those who ride, those who talk too much, are not clear. They even move against facts that have been investigated scientifically. So with us, we are very happy that the ANC once again showed that it is the organization of the people.
Immediately after the elections, I think the fatigue had also set in to various leaders, including the president, who took some time off, and then obviously leading to some people saying, is the president well?
Yes, I heard the story. Yes, after the elections, as you know, the elections, besides the fact that we work very hard in this government, and nobody can deny that, but the elections meant that we should actually put, if I was going to use the old language, the overdrive, because we really campaigned. We campaigned every country, every corner of this country were there, because we needed to again come to the people and talk to them. And I think because of the work that we've been doing, as well as that we did at the time, I think we did overstretch ourselves. And I think there was fatigue thereafter. And then I think the doctors did say, worked very well. We have not rested since 2005. You needed to take it easy. And indeed, there was a period where I really took it easy. I couldn't say my health was in its perfect condition. I mean, I'm in perfect condition now, but at that time, one could feel the strain of elections. There are many things that we have got to deal with, particularly if you're a head of state, appointment of the executive and many other things. So yes, that was the case, because we've been doing many things to ensure that we take the country forward. So yes, that was the issue.
Thanks for watching. This is how we end the interview. I'm Zwandi Lembeje. Till next time.